Hello everyone and welcome back to IPL Radio. You're here with Jack.
Hayes.
And Rob.
And hi, thank you so much Rob for joining us at such great notice. So good to see you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I think this is my first time coming down and seeing your show.
I know, and that is my pleasure. Now, I hear you've been on holiday, if I'm correct. It's Vietnam, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, would you like to tell us a bit about it? My first question to you is, what was your favourite part about it the most?
All right, well, I was wondering, I thought that might be the first question. I was trying to brainstorm in my head on the way down. The art. There are art stores everywhere in Vietnam. Sometimes it felt like there was a gallery on every street, and some streets had 4 or 5. So I spent hours walking from art shop to art shop and just, losing myself in the colour.
Yeah, and that's nice because the thing is, I've never been to Vietnam before, but a part of me has always wondered I would like to take Vietnam out and see what it's really like, because I've been a bit curious about what the views look like and what the people are like in Vietnam as well.
Yeah, very friendly, actually. I say actually as though I'm surprised. I've been caught in tourist traps before. In Bali, for example, the people who are selling things on the side of the street, they have a tendency to kind of follow you down the street and, hey, come look at the store, keep going, don't leave. But I quite liked that you walk past a stall in Vietnam, and if they see you walking away, they just drop it and they're like, hey, cool, no worries.
Yeah.
They have a real pride in their military history. A lot of statues of soldiers and people holding rifles, policemen in uniforms, statuesque, war heroes, and they've actually got a whole segment of art that they call resistance time sketches, because they were at war for 20 years. They've collected all these sketch works that were done during the war period, and they hang them up in galleries now.
That sounds very interesting, because I'm a very arts and craft person. I love doing anything that involves art, so that sounds very interesting and unique to me at the same time. And how did you get through it? I mean, like, with your holiday and everything. So how many days were you there for?
So we were there for 2 weeks, 14 days. We spent about 7 days in Hanoi, which is the capital city. Then we spent 2 days in a small town called Sapa. And then we went south and spent 5 days in Ho Chi Minh City in the south.
So you're going to say breakfast after supper? Who did you go with?
I went with my partner.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was a very romantic trip.
Oh,
That
very
does
good.
sound
Very a lot of sunsets.
So romantic.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to quite a few sky bars. I was burning through my budget pretty quickly on the first few days, because I thought, cheap drinks, let's cut a little bit loose.
Yeah.
And just bought cocktail after cocktail after cocktail.
Yay!
Yeah.
Then you realise it's not that cheap after you've ordered like 10 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like something I'd be so interested in.
Oh, yeah. So you got them started on the cocktails. Long Island RC. So Sky Bar is just a bar that's very high.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. They just on the roof of a random hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to look for the little sign that says 9th floor, and you walk through the lobby. I felt a little awkward walking through a hotel lobby, not being a hotel guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this is your sleeping space that I'm just invading, but it's the only way to get into the bars. And
if it's advertised, then I guess like it's
yeah, they expect it now. Yeah, by the third bar, I was just totally comfortable with it.
Yeah, just like, hey guys, I'm back.
I'm here to party.
So you felt a bit awkward as you just said. I can understand that. I know what it's like to feel awkward about something or a situation that bothers you, I guess. But that sounds like you had a really great holiday from what I've heard so far. I'm so glad you've really, really enjoyed it. And I know that I've never been to Vietnam, but I've always wanted to check it out for myself, because there are some places that I've visited in the past, but they're different places.
Right.
I've been to Los Angeles, Universal Studios, I have been to America, and I've also been to SeaWorld on the Gold Coast as well.
Very cool.
And swam with some dolphins as well.
Oh, nice. I've never swum with dolphins. I'm a little spooked of the water. I know dolphins are quote-unquote harmless, but if I'm in the water with something that large, I'd still get spooked.
I know. And the thing is, I can understand what it's like if somebody has a fear of someone or somebody, especially if it's an animal. But I feel like there's a way we can all face our fears as we get older. We can be really brave of what we can achieve.
Mm-hmm.
If I gotta go, I gotta go. That's my rule in the ocean. I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, I'm helpless to this. If I'm going out. I'm going out large. So
Yeah.
But yeah, dolphins, they're like, they're actually nice. They'll like fend off predators and stuff like that. And, But also they kind of like cower into the shore if something's chasing them. Usually that's how it works. Like,
Right.
if you see a big school of fish near you, probably not the best thing. Because something big is chasing the small things. So, yeah, but no, I've had no problems with it so far.
So
Fingers
here's
crossed.
the thing. I have a question for Danny. So, Danny, if you had to choose, what would be your favorite animal that you would like to swim with?
Not a shark, but I probably have swum with a couple of those. I don't know, like a penguin or something. I like penguins; they're so chill. I like when they slide on their belly.
Yeah.
And I love Surf's Up, so kind of like
That is an underrated film.
it's such an underrated film. I love Surf's Up. It's like my Chicken Joe. Love Chicken Joe. He's my spirit animal. Yeah.
Well, I did like that film Happy Feet that came out in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
That was about penguins, and it was a really good animated movie. But it was all about dancing. A lot of dancing was involved in it as well.
Yeah, it's
So
a real
it was
classic.
Really good.
Yeah.
Did you see any wildlife on your trip?
Not as much as I had hoped. One of the things I really like is to see animals that just aren't in Australia.
Yeah.
But most of our time was spent in the capital cities, so we saw a few city-dwelling birds and the odd squirrel. But
Which is what's the capital city?
Hanoi.
Hanoi. Okay.
Anyway, so how far away is that? Can I ask?
Oh gosh, it was a 5-hour flight to Singapore, and then like a hour and a half, 2-hour flight on to Hanoi from there.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I like Singapore. I've been Singapore's always a nice stop over there as well. Did you spend any time in Singapore?
We wanted to. Well, I wanted to. But our original flight got delayed. So rather than having a full day to just walk around the airport, suddenly it was a few hours just to wait around before our next flight.
Yeah.
But on the time,
like that.
on the way back, we had some extra time to go to the butterfly enclosure they have, the cactus garden.
Oh yeah, they got a cool airport there. I like seeing different airports. I love planes. I love flying.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
I
so
get a sense of excitement every time I'm in the airport.
You're just in a big metal box in the sky, and when you think about it like that, it's just crazy to think how am I still like? How does it take off? It's so heavy. It's so just. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I hear people complaining about the airline food, and it's like, you're getting served a sandwich on a marvel of engineering. Be grateful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when I'm on airplanes, I don't necessarily like most of their food. I kind of turn it down, but I know I have to eat something. But I'd rather eat food that's cooked properly and that's fresh.
Right, yeah.
I don't
fair.
mind it. I don't mind it because I eat a lot, so sometimes when the flights, this is going to England, so it's a long flight. When the flight starts, I'll get up out of my seat, run to the back, because that's what everyone does, trying to find the spare seats.
Yeah.
And I found a whole row once, so I got dinner on one side, put it down next to me, and then got dinner on the other side.
Oh,
so
genius.
best of both worlds there. I was flying high, literally.
We were flying on budget airlines, so the meal wasn't included.
Yeah, and they stitch you up. It's like $20 for a piece of fish or something like that. Yeah. So
I caved on the way there. I was like, I'm going to get it, and it was really quite bad. And then on the way back, I was like, I don't need the food. I'll live without it.
Yeah. So, any highlights? What's the highlight of your trip?
What would you choose for your best highlight?
Best highlight? Mount Fancy Pan was absolutely breathtaking.
Okay.
And it's just a fun word to say.
Yeah, fancy pants, like fancy pants.
Yeah, got to wear your fancy pants to Fancy Pan.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is a bit funny because I feel like it's a little bit hard for people to pronounce that word because they'll get a little bit confused of how to pronounce fancy pan because it sounds confusing at the same time.
Yeah. I think I learnt the word and then forgot it and got it wrong, and for a month or so I was telling everyone, oh yeah, I'm going to Sanfipan or something like that. I was
did
like,
you hike up it? Was it big mountain?
We were going to, but the day we showed up in Supper, it was raining. So we just did a little bit of a walk around the village to get a feel of the landscape and to decide what we were going to do the next day about the big hike we had planned. And there was this small hill. I thought, I'm just going to walk up this small hill and have a look around the town from there. And my first step in the mud, I slipped straight back down. Went,
Oh no!
Yeah, so a 6.5 hour hike through the jungle on slippy mud seemed rather dangerous.
Yeah.
It sounds too risky.
Exactly, yeah, it was. So instead, we decided to go check out the cable car that afternoon, and we just caught this huge cable car. It's like got 2 world records through the mist into the mountains.
Oh, that sounds cool, though.
It was wicked. It's 6 kilometers long, and the first leg of it goes from this... It's almost set up like a theme park. They've got a botanical garden there. They've got a restaurant and a pagoda, but it all feels very commercial.
Yeah.
Anyway, you go from this station and you leave immediately and go right over the valley, which has this old Vietnamese village in it where they still got the rice farms and water buffalo farming set up. You can look down. You might be a kilometre off the ground. It felt like flying through the air.
So cool.
Rice farms, that does sound interesting because I haven't seen what they look like, but were they interested in, exploring the rice farms in general?
It was, and I wish I'd gotten to do a little bit more of that. Cat Village, which is outside of Supper, was the only really rural place we went to. And because it's right at the bottom of this mountain that's known for being the tallest in French Indochina, it still sees a lot of tourists, so there would be a classic farm, and then next door would be a store selling a whole bunch of traditional clothing, trying to, hey, look, you've come to see our traditional town, take home a traditional dress.
Yeah. Trying to make a bit of cashola, like everyone.
Yeah.
Well, Danny and I, we love our clothing, what we wear, because we can tell that we have very good taste.
Yeah, cool, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, well, Danny and I, we loved our holiday away, because it was a few days ago now, but we did go for a holiday away, but we really liked it.
Where did you go?
We actually stayed in Scarborough at the Quest Hotel, and my mum and my auntie Claire came with me, who's my mum's sister, and we had a really, really great time. But when Danny and I spent time on our own, it was good because it made me feel independent, that I didn't have to rely on my mum as much. I mean, I love having my mum for help, but I love sometimes trying to be independent.
Yeah, of course.
It's good for you to have a break from each other.
Yeah, but
rip each other's necks out.
I feel like whenever I'm with Danny, things are so easy because I put a lot of trust in who I go out with, and I understand that. But I feel like when we speak with each other, he's really good at communication, and he knows how to make me feel happy.
Oh, good. Oh, wonderful.
Cool as a cucumber, Jack.
Yes.
Always relaxed. But yeah, we went and had like some really nice breakfasts and some.
We did.
Yeah, some nice dinners and stuff like that. It's just nice to be out there. Like, it's good vibes, surfers and stuff like that. It's kind of pains you a bit, is like looking at the surf. And last time this time, the last time we went before, it was like a really good day with the swell and everything. Everyone was down there, it was pumping. We were sitting on the hill having a coffee, watching the surfers getting barreled and stuff. So I used to live for that day. I love that stuff.
Yeah, but when we went this time, our hotel room was amazing. You know, the accommodation was really good at the same time as well. Even like a TV where I could watch my favorite movies and all that. I love seeing what's on the news, but so great having my mum and my auntie Claire there, because my auntie Claire, it's her last day today in Australia, and she flies back to the UK tomorrow.
Okay. Have you been to the UK to visit your family there?
Yes, two times. Well, I went once when I was a baby years ago, and then back when in 2011 when I was 10 or 11 years old with my dad.
Right.
took me. Yeah, but I've been to Scotland 2 times to visit the UK. Yes.
Oh, cool.
But it has been really amazing and really remarkable at that same time. But I've also learnt that another thing that I love to do is that when Danny and I spend time together, sometimes he takes me out for dinner. Like, for example, he said this Saturday he's not doing anything, so if I was up for it, maybe we could go out for a bite to eat.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
we go out and then we find somewhere where Jack can get his boogie on and I can like stand there looking awkward because that's, you know.
Me, myself, I love being a total chick magnet.
Yeah,
Cool.
he's got magnetism. But I've just got no moves, so I just watch him dance and then people come over and they're like, you know, jump in as well and they teach me a few moves and yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah,
he gets a cocktail too, so that's why he looks forward to it.
It's pretty clear to me that all the girls think I'm charming.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Jack. And you got a couple special moves. He's got one where he goes
Well,
it's real.
that was Apostolos who liked that move.
Oh,
personally.
everyone likes it. Everyone
as
likes
soon as
it.
I started doing this, like, do that move again, like, all bright. But you know what Apostolos is like with his cheeky personality.
Yeah, I know what he's like.
Did you bust any moves on holiday?
You know, nearly. We went to this jazz club that was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I'd never been to a proper jazz club before, but I always kind of liked that sort of funky jazz style music, a lot of trumpet, saxophone.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't anything like I expected. Tiny little bar up in the stop. The chairs and the tables went right up to the band, which was not on a stage, so you really just felt like you could reach out and touch them if you wanted.
Yeah.
And the woman sung amazingly. Like, she sung in English and not a hint of an accent. So, and like just a really powerful voice filled the room. The guy on the piano, they just, each of them really tore it up.
And so there was like dancing as well.
Was no room for dancing, but my legs were going and I really wanted to.
Yeah, everyone in there's just like buzzing.
Yeah,
but that happens to me when I dance sometimes. If I dance too much, my legs start to shake because I want to rest my legs because they're getting too tired.
Yeah.
And then it makes me want to go to sleep really fast because I've danced too much. I need to rest my hips. I'm like, no, I have to rest my hips. It's officially done now. I'm a really good dancer, but I just need to rest and go to sleep.
Yeah, dance yourself a lullaby.
Yeah.
But personally, Robert, like, what's your favourite genre of music? What would you choose?
Ooh, that's real difficult. It often depends on the mood I'm in.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can go anywhere, except a few places, but then, like, it's the mood, eh? It's all about the vibe.
Yeah, so when I was a mechanic, I was very stressed out, and I listened to a lot of heavy metal back then.
Yeah.
And it's still got a special place in my heart, so I love the metal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, jazz is also way up there, probably. One of my favourites.
Oh, now that you mentioned heavy metal, I thought you might want to know this is an interesting story. I have a twin brother myself. His name's Ryan, and we're both 23 years old. So he's the same age as me, but he's in a band himself called Indigo Blaze Band. Yeah, he's in Kalgoorlie at the moment, but he's coming back soon in April for Easter. But they do music that's heavy metal, so it involves like a lot of yelling, and he's a really good sensational drummer as well.
Oh, wicked. Yeah, that's actually my favourite instrument. I was trying to figure out what it was about heavy metal that I love so much. And I was listening to The Offspring, which isn't really that heavy, but they've got a great drummer in that band. And I realised, I'm just well into the drums. More drum solos.
Yeah, it's
the
about...
Offspring are really great, and I love the Foo Fighters.
They're
great.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd like his brother's band. They're quite hard, hard sort of rocky, but very...
Yeah, Indigo Blaze. Yeah.
You know what they remind me of a
I'll
little
show
bit?
you after.
They remind me of a little bit of the Red Hot Chili Peppers vibe.
Right.
Very hard, really.
But really
more
high,
hard than that.
It's raving, like...
Yeah.
He even took me to one of his gigs because he gave me a VIP ticket when Danny and I were on a holiday. He's like, come in, I'll get you a free ticket, come through the door. So I went through the door and he's like, yeah, and then he's like, you managed to make it, I'm so happy to see you, but it was so good how he got me a VIP ticket, because usually when you go to a concert, you're waiting outside the door for ages and you're thinking, come on, I just really want to go in, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah. I've not been to a music event since I was maybe 15, 16. My dad took me to the York Jazz Festival.
Ah, so that's where the jazz love comes from.
Yeah. Although I didn't get that into it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I got that ADD, so sat in an audience just kind of watching someone else play music. Something in my brain just starts going, I got to be walking about, I got to be...
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like music festivals and stuff like that, but they're a little bit... you lose all... It's kind of cool, like, you lose all your friends, and then you're sort of, like, in the middle of nowhere, you're like, oh, I don't know this band, but let's go. Like, you sort of get in your own zone, but sitting there and sort of watching it is a little bit, like... It's like you can just do it on YouTube, you know. You just need that energy, people moving around and like a kind of a mosh a little bit, you know.
Yeah, which is really great to have that energy, because I love going to my musical gigs, but it's been a while since I've been to a concert. But I try to get out as much as possible to this community, which is really great. Yeah, you know, and Danny and I do things. I do things with my mum. I do things with Kate, my other support worker for Life School. She's great, but I'm also starting my own YouTube channel now.
Oh, very cool.
With one of my friends' help. So I'm going to interview Danny and Apostolos later on if it's possible.
I'll be waiting. I got questions for you.
What's the channel about?
Well, the channel is about... It's called Jack's Journey. And it explains that's the title, and it explains about my life, about who I am as a person, and how much I've grown up since then to help this community become a better place, and how I feel towards achieving my independence, which is really good.
Cool, very cool. Yeah, I added some videos on my channel. I've privated them now because they were stories of some of the worst things that I've done. They were called Rob's Web Diaries, and I had this like terrible half jingle. I'd start off and go, Rob's Web Diaries, and then just tell this story about what a jerk I was this one time. Spent 10 minutes.
No, but that's, you got to get it out there. It's always entertaining to listen to.
Yeah.
Like your most embarrassing moment or something like that.
Now,
yeah, that
you
stuff.
don't do the Rob's Web Diaries anymore. That's like done. Or?
It's pretty much done. Yeah. I've thought about revisiting it, but the last time I uploaded, I did the 3 episodes, and they were maybe 5-6 years ago that I recorded and uploaded them now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, Danny and I love listening to music. But the thing is, we actually butt heads between the artists that we listen to. Sometimes it gets a bit annoying. Like this song is just rubbish. I'm sorry, I don't like it. Because I try to give his music a chance, but it's physically impossible.
Yeah, it's very different.
It's
very
a heavy
different.
alternative that I have to listen to.
It's not heavy. It's like really different alternative.
Well,
a lot of
that's what it
guitar. I
reminds
like
me of.
guitar. I've been trying to learn guitar as well, but I like a lot of like picking on the guitar. It's really, really weird sort of music.
Yeah.
It's not even weird. It's just not pop. And anything that isn't pop these days, people are like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
Get rid of it. It's not on the radio. I'm scared. You know?
There's one I've been wanting to add to my playlist, Little Yellow Spider. And it comes from that outsider music genre.
Oh, yeah.
Musicians that don't really sing very well or know how to play their instruments 100%, but they just kind of beat out some poetry with as much as they can play.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
so is Little Yellow Spider the name of the band?
That's the name of the song.
Yellow
Yeah.
Spider.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the
That's
band
where
is.
you hear the best stuff. Is the stuff down in the little alleyways and you recommended, and that's what I always find hard. Like making sure my recommended's going to send me to the right places. And lately, it's been sending me, to some good like artists and stuff. And I always like new music makes me feel a new way, like a new song, and I'll overplay it.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And then it's like it sounds like every other song. But when I find a new one, I'm like, yeah, this is my song.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But no, even though we don't agree on music sometimes, we still have fun. And
we still
that's
agree
the
on
main
it.
point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what best friends are for.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
So, thank you for coming in to see us. It's so lovely to see you.
No worries. Yeah, thanks for having me in.
Anyway, I'm going to get back to the music now. I'm going to start with Valerie by Mark Ronson and Amy Winehouse.
Awesome stuff. Sounds good.